Inizia subito il programma 3 settimane per risultati visibili già dal primo giorno. Purina One.
Falcons in the final, it's going to be your first big tournament experience with them official. You know, if I play them 2 times, it's better. You know, if I manage to get to the final again, play them again in case we lose. And in case we won and they get there again, we will be super confident to play them again.
Super confident going into this best of 5, Lizard. That must sound good for every Heroic fan out there.
Absolutely, because confidence plays a huge part when you're playing on a LAN, when you're just reaching the grand finals for the first time as a team, and you're also, obviously, you're in the grand finals, so you have to be playing versus the other favorites, right? So versus Falcons, it's also important because Falcons can get in your head. You know, they all chat quite a lot. It has happened in the series where they faced Heroic. There were some chill out, you know, after the Queen of Pain Lina matchup. There was also some enjoy mid versus some other players, of course. So overall, it's really nice to see that KJ and the boys have confidence going into this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Heroic as well, right? You lost to Falcons in upper bracket, but you didn't respect Nature's Prophet game 1. You lost to it. Game 3, you tried Mortar against Bristleback. That was your winning strategy against Infinity. It didn't work out as well. So at least for Heroic, it's like, well, we tried 2 things that we thought were good. It didn't work out. That's information, push it into that best of 5.
Yeah, and I feel when we were talking about Heroic, we often talk about Parker. I mean, there's no shame in that. He is doing incredibly well. But we wanted to highlight KJ a little bit more because it seems like he's really become also the cornerstone. Of course, he is the one supporting Parker, so maybe that plays a part as well, Lizard. But KJ overall has had a really good tournament.
He definitely has, and I love the Omni Knight little icon there that we have. It kind of matches their jerseys as well. But yeah, he's been not only the protector. He wasn't only this Omni Knight, this Shadow Demon that catches people, saves people. He's been very active on a couple of other heroes as well. He's been, by the way, you discussed Doom and his tech. I remember maybe 6-7 months ago, they were playing in that interview when they won versus Falcons a long time ago, 1-1. He was also playing Enchantress and he was doing some interesting tech. Like he would buy drums, use up all the charges and then sell the drums for a different item. So he's not really scared to innovate as well. And that, of course, innovation comes from the multitude of games that he has played on certain heroes on that position 5. Like he gets to invent new tech.
I mean, without him, then we wouldn't be able to praise Parker so many times, right? Because his laning, even if lane doesn't go well, his kind of joining with the team, buying time for Parker to come online. I think, you know, KJ is, you know, an incredibly strong 5 player, and just the depth of his hero pool. We didn't show the heroes there, but it's like we have supporting heroes, aggressive heroes. Like there's not all, you know, 4 hero that's it player. You know, he's played 10 plus different heroes. He does exactly what he needs to do for the team. And again, if Heroic, help your Parker get to farm, and KJ, he is step 1 in that process.
And I think also before that process gets to fruition, we have to talk about the fact that a best of 5 is a different beast. And South America, overall, they have not played a lot of best of 5s because they don't really get to make it to the grand finals. They've done so twice. We looked through every international LAN we could find. We found 2 LAN finals that had South America with a team that represented them. One in 2019, one in 2017. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and I hope for Heroic that pressure isn't really on their minds, because like the fact that, you know, an entire region, they've been around for so long, but yet to make it, yet to, you know, lift the trophy, Heroic, it is the best showing, right? You've got a blend of South American players from Brazil, Peru, etc. You've got them all together, plus a little bit of Western European influence. Like, it is just a perfect harmony of a team that can go far. And they've had a year last year. They didn't really make it to grand finals, at least. Decent runs, but this is their tournament. They're doing really well. Unfortunately, the raid boss to Falcons is there, but again, South America, this is your best shot.
If this is what it takes, I want more South American teams reaching grand finals, because this is probably one of the closest tournaments we've had in a while. Like looking at TI, looking at at all the tournaments leading to TI, we've had a lot of 2-0 series. We checked the stats like yesterday or the day before. The 3 of us, 14 out of 16 series at that day.
You're still in the Cinderin stat.
Did you use it?
No, yeah, that's fine.
But, no, I mean, I didn't look it up. Someone wrote it in the chat. So yeah, blame Sin for that one. But overall, like, it's been very competitive, and Heroic, they didn't shy away from going the full stretch. Sometimes they couldn't win out the series with a clean 2-0, but they would always make sure to learn from their mistakes and go the full stretch, maybe win it 2-1. So expecting a lot from them, a lot of innovation in this best of 5.
Yeah, and I think this series that they played just now as well, T, it kind of went a lot into Heroic's character, where regardless of how much they look like they're down and out, they will look for openings and they will try to create scenarios where they can have a chance of a comeback, even if the chances are low.
Yeah, and I think that's where we've had interviews with Dalai Lama where he speaks about how, he likes to play with emotion. And to be fair, it's also how Heroic finds success, right? When the game gets tough and you can see the emotions, their reactions, they don't just, they don't play worse. They use that and go, okay, no, we're going to fix it. We're going to try. And then maybe they take another fight. It doesn't work out. But they keep evolving every single fight to a point where they can make that comeback. They can set up an opportunity to break their opponent. So
yeah, they fight until the bitter end. Like, you could see it even on spot. They're buying bashers just to defend the throne. So there's no sliver of chance for Tundra to steal that one away from them. And in both games, I felt like Tundra had a pretty good chance, a pretty big opportunity to take it. But the comeback mechanics from these guys are way too strong.
I mean, Heroic, they need to be careful, though. They need to make sure that if they are in a down position, Falcons, they're not the team that will squander an advantage, right? They will choke you out and build a 30, 40, 50k gold lead to remind you that you made some early game mistakes.
By the way, I just love this average hero damage. We have this stat. However, when we were coming into this series, we didn't really want to talk too much about Parker. Everyone is doing that,
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Parker, so we wanted to give some limelight to others too.
Exactly.
But now we can talk about Parker.
But looking at all the other stats as well, like, he's got a lot of records, like not records in general, like in all the tournaments, but at this tournament, he's either first or second with like GPM, XPM, the kills done, the KDA as well. Like, overall, fantastic player.
Yeah, when we talk about both these teams, we know that Falcons has not changed their roster since the International. However, Heroic did. It is Parker that is the new kid on the block there, and he is slotting in so well. But I do also want to focus on the raid bosses of this event so far. We have Falcons as the team that has not dropped a single series. Yes, they've dropped games here and there, and they've been very open about how they've struggled a little bit. We heard Amar say we lost every scrim, so I'm surprised we didn't drop a series,
Yeah, it's kind of hard for them to just recover after a really long TI, right, and go straight into the new season. But it took them a little bit at the beginning, and then they caught up, and now they're looking just as strong, if not even stronger. I loved like this comparison between Falcons and Heroic. For Heroic, you have a star. You have one player, 4 protect 1, more or less. That's why the others aren't even close when it comes to some records. Even that PM is the highest on their side on Schofield. Like, he's keeping that #1 score, just creating so much space. On the other side, on Falcons, I feel like this trio, of course, they share the load. Like, every single one is given the same amount of space and the same amount of farm time. And every single one of them can carry the game for you.
Yeah, and speaking of top 5s, which Parker is in, this is one he's in, but he's not on top.
Oh, he's beaten by Skidder. There we go. But no, yeah, it's of course Skidder sitting here at the top average net worth, but also that's because Falcons, in this tournament at least, like I said earlier, when they get that lead, they hold their opponent in the base.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
really make their opponent just hate playing the game. It's like, think about game 2, mate, because you are not winning this game 1. And for Amar at least, I think he's enjoying this post-TI patch because he's not rushing to buy auras every time, right? We're allowing Amar to go for Sanjin Yashas, earlier BKBs. On some heroes, of course, like Bristol is going Bloodstone. Like, he's not just going,
He wants
I
to
play off.
entertain. He's a showman. You
Yeah,
know, like.
and it's working out, right? Like, when you think conceptually, okay, you need to deal with the early game aggression, like a 15, 20-minute BKB or Bloodstone timing from Amar, but then also during that, Maureen making moves, Skidder farming up. It's like there's so many, things coming at you that you have to, pick your battles wisely. And
I love this unique heroes, by the way, these unique heroes at least, because one man on the screen obviously has a lot of them, and the other one, I mean, if I'm thinking of Skitter, I'm thinking only about these Nature's Prophet, Dragonites, Razors, like these common semi-cores that he plays and that he excels with. Like, he might not have the highest net worth every single game, even though average is there. in comparison to his teammates.
I mean, it's also a lot of pressure on Parker, right? We just described how Falcons, they have a tri-core that blends the net worth between the three of them. Often, Heroic, they can have, you know, Parker up number one, Analog or Devi Lama filling that second role, and often a third core can fall off a little bit in net worth to be the playmaker, to buy time. Where Falcons, it feels like every single game, no matter what, they're kind of all moving up the net worth relatively evenly. So that is going to be a disparity that we need to look out for in this grand final.
Yeah, and we're talking a lot about these cores. We see the cores usually, and it's easy, right? Like you see Kerry, he has a lot of kills. You see Mid, he's doing flashy things. However, position 4s as well need some love. And
They
Crit,
do.
like he's been doing God's work this tournament. Like his Hoodwink got nerfed. I was a bit critical on the hero as well, but he's definitely making it work. Like they're calling it what, Hood King? And
Yeah,
if they
or
will-
who'd win or
I mean,
something.
he just doesn't miss a bushwhack, right?
And if it's in the game, they pick it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of focus for against Falcons to ban out a lot of their cores, but that does mean, and maybe some of the usual saving supports, you know, like the Naga or the Omni or Shadow Demon or something, but it does mean that Grit just gets to pick whatever he wants.
That's true, but it's also the same argument to Schofield, right? Like when we're talking about how Parker's forcing out Morphling bans in the first phase, you're respecting certain heroes and Devi Lama forcing him to kind of different routes, then suddenly Schofield gets to see a game where he wants to play Grimstroke. Then he pops on Grimstroke. He gets a bounty or a Nyx game, right? Like I think the supports at the moment are shining a lot just because the cores are soaking up so many bans.
Yeah, a little bit of a higher variety for Schofield, but we must not forget that Heroic is also just straight up played a lot more games.
Yeah.
And Falcons hasn't needed to change their winning strategy for Crit that many times.
Yeah, which might be a good thing, but also can be a bad thing, right? Because you haven't experimented maybe as much. Like we heard them talk, I think it was ZTF, about their scrims, like how they're losing all their scrims as well. So some of those ideas that you have you might not feel very comfortable on.
Which best of three do you think Falcons enjoyed analysing most? The first best of three Heroic beat Tundra, the second best of three Heroic beat Tundra, or the third best of three Heroic beat Tundra?
I think one best of three that they should definitely have analyzed is the upper bracket, because that one didn't go that easily for them, perhaps not as easily as they expected it to go. Heroic took one game off of them, and guess what? They had a lot of very comfortable heroes on Falcons. Like they had the Razor, the DK, the Pangolier, and they still lost to Heroic. So gotta think hard about what you're going to ban against Parker and the boys.
Again, just to say Parker again, it's just that he had Morphling in that game and a Medusa. Like he had if I get to 30 minutes and my game is comfortable, I will win you the game because I am Parker. That's kind of the vibe I get with him on this team. It's just, if he has a clear timing, if Heroic can just get there in any way, shape or form, there's a moment they will shine. And that's where Falcons, I think in both draft and play, they're going to have to identify that themselves and just make sure they navigate to that timing in a safe way.
But we saw both Falcons yesterday and also Tundra today have a recipe for success for that. Well, Tundra maybe didn't end up working out in the end, but they did look very good in the game where they just straight up first phase ban heroes that Parker likes to play. Medusa, Morph, out.
But also Falcons, they sometimes do a thing where we're talking about the blend of net worth between a tricore. In some games, they don't have that traditional late game, you are the carry hero, right? They have like a Razor that overlaps with a DK, but the DK is playing a bit more sacrificial compared to, you know, like a TI Heroic of like K1 Hector, where he's like, oh, I've got all the net worth, right? And that's where Heroic, if they can find the Monkey King, the Medusa, that one hero, you already see from the draft the moment.
We're focusing a lot on his heroes, but the more we talk about it, the more I believe that the secret lies actually in the two supports on Heroic. Like if they are able to get a couple of items, to get some heroes that can enable Parker a little bit further, it almost doesn't matter what he plays.
Even enabling the mid and off lane, right?
Of course. I mean, it falls down to him, really, because the way Falcons play and they draft, they want to ruin that one core that is playing against them. They usually have a Doom, they have a Razor, they have these heroes that are just nasty to play against if you're a star position 1. So you need to make sure that you have these tools to perhaps break the static link or negate the Doom that goes your way, or maybe just get you out of Sprout, some 4-staffs, you know, just you need these kind of items on the sports. They can't go greedily into whatever, like just their items, you know, like something that enables Enchanters to right click.
Yeah, so that's where for KJ at least you see his hero pool, that blend of aggression plus defensive capabilities. I think that's going to be a really big debate Heroic are going to have to kind of solve before they enter the drafts, because, you know, Naga Siren, you're unlikely to get it, right? But the Ench, the Tusk, the Omni, like even the common heroes, like they're the heroes that seem to play any match, any game, and you feel like you can do the same job. The unique heroes, though, is Jakiro really going to be the anti-MR hero in lane? I think it's a little bit too volatile. I think the Witch Doctor as well we saw from KJ, it can work in a snowballing lineup where you just break the game in the first 20. But are you really going to be able to perfectly play a game against Falcons? So I hope for Heroic's sake, KJ kind of shifts more towards the game heroes rather than I just want to have a really fun lane, because that's also what they said in an interview.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about Heroic because I want people to know at home that Heroic is coming in here as the challenger. Falcons has had one of the most successful years in Dota 2 that an organization has seen, with so many first places, 4 first places in top tier tournaments. They didn't start too good, or rather, there's top 6 in Kuala Lumpur was still good, but of course this was without AUI 2000. Then AUI joined, and oh my god, platform finishes, top 3 finishes, Lizard, all the way through.
Yeah, they are just too strong of a team, really, and they're having so much fun playing Dotes. This is crazy. I have seen a lot of teams in the past, though, do very nicely and then fall in a TI.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we did put TI on there
we're
because
missing
it
the most
wasn't a top
important
3
tournament.
finish.
Yeah, but the most important tournament.
No, it was 4th. We was 4th.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
4th, so it didn't look pretty. We went for
Look,
the aesthetics.
I understand it doesn't look pretty, but you know,
there's a team that
Come
came
on.
like 4th or 6th at TI after winning everything that year, and then they disbanded. That was Virtus Pro back in the day. Like not winning TI definitely hurts. However, with the current prize pools and everything, I don't think it stings as much as it used to.
The prestige, that stings. And the fact that we look at that graphic and it's what, seconds, thirds, first.
Yeah.
TIs are 4th, they're now in the grand finals again. It's like Falcons, even on an off tournament, they're still finishing by getting to play on the Saturday and the Sunday, right? Some teams would wish they even got this close to it.
Oh,
Heroic,
you know what? Shall I just name Heroic's numbers for a little bit? Just in terms of...
take it away,
you know,
Shiva.
13,
Comparison-wise.
14s,
Yep.
15, 16s, top 8, top 16, top 8, top 14, top 12 in a TI. You know, that's just not making it to the last 5 days of an event.
Yeah.
Which also means, I think, that a team has overall more rest, because if we compare that and how much rest both of these two teams have had since the international, just getting eliminated earlier than your opponents means you get just extra days rest. I mean,
that's
Sure.
true. But if
the
we're
small
gonna
things?
go into the small things and all the details, Falcons, they cruised through the first part of the Swiss stage, right?
True.
And because of that, they had a lot of rest at this tournament.
Heroic was the same. They also had Heroic and Falcons both were the two teams that after 3 wins they made it through.
Falcons needed only 2 wins.
Got me there. All right, guys. You might have noticed we had a little bit of tiny delay, but we should have the draft on your screen very soon. We should have that one kicking off, which means I want to talk a little bit about that draft that's coming our way, because we said a lot. Oh, you got to ban the heroes for Parker. Maybe early on, you got to keep in mind. Maybe you want to put Falcons at a disadvantage by not letting Crit have Hoodwink. Where do we go at the moment, considering there are so many heroes that I feel like we should ban out? For example, Nature's Prophet as well.
Yeah, I think Heroic, at least coming into the series, in the first game, they'll consider Sand King, Doom, Nature's Prophet, and then they'll have one flex ban where it could be a Shadow Demon, it could be a Naga, it could be whatever's available. But I think, in my mind at least, like Sand King, Doom, Nature's Prophet are like the big 3 to respect against Falcons.
No, I absolutely agree. Out of those, I'd say Prophet and Doom 100%. I don't want to agree completely with T-Gov. We're agreeing way too much today. This isn't the best panel, but like Nature's Prophet and Doom, definitely they need to get away. Sand King,
No.
I'll argue a little bit.
What should they ban against Heroic then?
I feel like Sand
You're
King...
going for the cheap answer.
No. Like Sand King, in my view, like I think that Heroic, they might cook something up. They have some tech that can defeat Sand King on the mid lane. I feel like this is a team that has flex potential with some Monkey King as well. So maybe move that little piece around.
Yeah, I just want to say that I got a little bit of insight in the lobby chat.
Wait, spoilers?
No, not spoilers. There was
Aw.
just friendly banter in the chat. I'm assuming it's friendly, but that might lead into some tipping during the game. So we'll see if that makes it out into the open. For this game, I think we've highlighted a lot with Falcons, especially what they are prioritizing, considering it seems to change a little bit here and there. But this game, It was very simple. The priority was for Heroic, and they chose first pick, meaning Falcons chose Radiant after that, and they get second pick, which is what they like more than anything
Yeah,
anyway.
I feel like Falcons are very happy with that, right?
Yes.
Like they're always going to go for that second pick anyway. I feel like the only time they don't is when the enemy team gets that flip coin and wins. But
And also, like, with the whole idea of Radiant, how many times have we seen Falcons utilize the 20-minute Roshan, the daytime Roshan, so taking that side? If you see the natural optimization that you get from your cores, you want to fight for that Roshan in that minute mark, playing Radiant makes sense.
I love, by the way, how much Storm rised in stonks this tournament. This Doom, these Sand Kings, of course, they're difficult to deal with, but Storm Spirit, like yesterday, today as well, has looked really damn strong. And he's got like one of the highest win rates in the game, considering that at the beginning and in the group stages, even in the first couple of days of the upper bracket, it was only Copy and Nouns really spamming that hero.
Yeah, and as we can
Bulbous
see,
patch.
73% win rate. That is absurdly high.
Wow.
I think Sand King needs to go now. With
Yeah,
the Monkey
that's the
King
big
band,
three, yep.
with the Storm band, this is a hero that, yeah, definitely they should get rid of it.
But then you're getting Shadow Demon through the ban phase, you're getting...
Pangolier as well. Oh, Razor. Okay, so they grab the Sand King. There you go. That's an approach.
Yeah, I mean, Heroic, they just played it in the offlane, right, against Tundra. I'm sure they can put it in any position they want based on 2 or offlane. Just to be clear, when I said any position, I meant between mid and offlane. I don't want to see some puppy Navi support.
And I'm sure Falcons have watched this last game, even though when they were preparing for the drafts for Heroic, they didn't have this Sand King game, right? Like yesterday or last night, they didn't have the Sand King game on Heroic. But let's see, the hero is extremely popular right now.
To be fair, they didn't even play Sand King
Exactly.
leading into the tournament,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So on the other side, Falcons have played it a lot. On the other, they haven't. And I'm not the biggest fan of the offlane Sand King, though. I have to say that. Pangolier on the other side, he can go anywhere, and I'm happy.
Yeah, already Falcons respecting Sand King, because no matter what position it's going to be in, when you play in that Sandstorm, you need to find the hero and just pressure him. Right? We saw in the Tundra series, 33 was inside the Sandstorm, chilling, waiting, buying his time. So Pangolier in that Rolling Thunder, he can go find the hero, gets Basher, Diffusal, Ag. Like he can constantly remind Sand King, like, hey, if you don't initiate first, I will find you and I will annoy your entry to the fight.
Yeah. I looked up a little bit of heroes and hero combinations and what hero works against which in this tournament. And so far versus Pangolier, interestingly enough, it's not a BKB piercing. Dark Willow has an extremely high win rate against him. Terrorize, Brambles, kind of annoying to shield crash through, to use Swashbuckle. Also really good combo with the Sand King. I'm not sure Heroic are going to go for that. Not completely their style, but Dark Willow, I feel like even Heroic, they play it, might be an option for them.
Yeah, it's something to keep in the back of our minds for sure for Schofield.
Yeah, but speaking of supports that are more popular, of course, there's Clockwork still left in the pool.
Yep.
Shadow Demon still left in the pool. For Heroic into Pangolier, Shadow Demon maybe not as high value as some other supports, but still too strong to just skip over.
Yeah, this is the first time Falcons is really ticking into the bonus time. Heroic hasn't used any. I really do like the start of these drafts, especially from game 1 for a series, because most of this can be theory crafted, generally is theory crafted. So it shows that so far, I feel for Heroic, things are going according to plan, whereas Falcons, now taking this amount of time, is now starting to try to get a more coherent game plan.
Which Parker hero do we ban here? That's
True. I mean, it's the most important ban in the entire draft, I think, for Falcons, right? Like when you only have a single ban into the second phase, if you waste it on a Tusk, for example, then suddenly it breaks you down.
Primal.
But they go for the Primal, and I think that's generally quite honestly not opposed to it. Heroic closed the phase with the Flex and Sand King. The Vailama likes to play heroes that are constantly in your face. I think I prefer him on the Bristles, the Primals, the Sand Kings compared to the Enigmas and the kind of the more cooldown heroes. And
very interesting. What are they so worried about, though? They need to have something, maybe some break or something like that that they're afraid of.
We've seen
less about
Primal
that,
pick
though.
up the Pango and
I think it's less about that, but more about having constant heroes running at you, right? Like the early timings of Primal and Sand King with 2 aggressive supports that we're mentioning from KJ and Schofield, that's so much, you need so many resources to deal with them that Parker will always hit his timings, right? So I think they're respecting more the how does Heroic set up their entire
They're too
team.
big, they're too up front, and Parker is going to get space no matter what. I can see that happening, yeah. Hoodwink though for Falcons. Wow.
Crazy.
What a surprise!
Very
Wow.
shocked.
No, I
Did
should-
not see that coming. But look
So
at that stat,
out
though,
of-
83% for crit win rate.
Yeah, out of the top 11 hero plus player combinations in this tournament, it's only Hoodwink and Crit that's repeated like a bazillion times here. That's still in the that's still in the tournament, of
Yeah.
course. Like everyone else is already out. He's the only one that doesn't really have a high variety of heroes, but is still around.
Yeah, Falcons play
You
the
don't need
game.
variety when you own every game, right?
Yeah, I mean, Falcons play the game at their own pace. So heroes like Hoodwink, they always get to dictate, the rune control. They set up for the bushwhacks. Like it's a hero that is perfect when you are in your own kind of, again, control of the game.
No, I feel like going into the upper bracket, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Gyro was banned out versus most SA teams, like versus Beast Coast, you're banning it out, you don't want Costability to play it, versus Heroic as well, you're banning out the Gyro. It's just a very highly regarded hero in SA.
Would you like me to correct you if you're wrong?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't banned in the Tundra series against her. Oh, only in one game.
Okay, so banned in one series?
Falcons
Did Falcons
didn't
get
ban it.
Okay, so they don't respect the Gyro as much
Yeah.
as some other teams, but we'll see. Like Gyro, I like it. I don't mind it into the Hoodwink as well. Like you get some vision on her, you get a lot of AoE damage that she can't stand, and then you have the Tusk combo as well. But this is a rough one. Crystal Maiden Alchemist also a very strong lane.
But it also gives Heroic a lease of life if you survive the out timing, right? Because you referenced Costabile. I think he was one of the first few players that showed the SMY build into Skadi, BKB, Daedalus. You just stand your ground. You have the ability to mitigate the healing from Alchemist. It's quite an annoying build. A little bit slower because you don't go Aghanim's and have that farm speed. But once you get to those items, you easily get to play into Alchemist with strength. Just a lot of economy required. But Parker always does find the farm.
Yeah.
Falcons do. Good lanes, aggression, just break Heroic's farm pattern. Gyro, he needs to farm. Sand King, he has to farm the triangle. If he doesn't get to triangle and like a 12-13 minute Bloodstone,
Are they baiting some Schofield Rubik here? Because it looks like a really solid game. And I know the hero hasn't had... It's a bit volatile, right? Like it's... In some games it can look kind of awkward. In this game, like as a position 4...
I'd prefer Snapfire myself, but
Okay.
I think any 4 position that can just be a little bit more aggressive early on.
But they open up first and foremost with the Nerd Spirit.
Yeah, the old analog, yeah.
And this kind of sets things in stone, no pun intended. Like you're going to have your Earth Spirit on the mid lane, your Sand King on the off lane. Tusk and Gyro most likely will be your safe lane combination. And the last pick, support for them, huh?
Here we go, the favorite part of the band. Okay, Heroic, you have last pick for Falcons. You have mid-earth Spirit. Do you ban the Huskar? Do you ban like Monkey King? Do you ban, obviously Monkey King.
Monkey King's already out.
It's banned first phase, yeah. I'm
Huskar
going
and
through the
Shaker
obvious list
are the
of
ones
yeah.
that you got to be aware of for
Yeah.
sure.
They banned the Huskar, but it does mean Sand King's in the off lane, which I think could cause some issues for Heroic because CM Alchemist is a very strong lane.
It's very strong. I feel like maybe there is some outplay potential there. CM Alchemist, for me, is definitely stronger versus Sand King plus 90% of position 4s.
At least it
Maybe
does
if you
some-
play around that invisibility facet, I think you can joke a couple of these. Plus, by the way, you could also move the Tusk in that lane, pick something else for the Gyro, use the snowballs into the stun from Alchemist.
Will Falcons respect Grimstroke, right? They have 3 melee initiating heroes. Schofield's played it already.
And the Pangolier as
And
well.
exactly, yeah. So it's like, this is now where Falcons, it's quite simple for their bans, but it's like, what are the best fours for Schofield? Do they respect Grimstroke and what it can do with Soulbind? Do they care about Dark Willow for the laning phase and the additional teamfight with Terrorize?
By the way, when you go through all the bans, there's a hero missing that's usually banned, and that's Enchantress. And if you're Falcons, you can afford that. Like, you don't have to ban it. Why? Because you already have a Crystal Maiden on one side and Hoodwink on the other. Your supports are already fine against her.
And Clockwork, of course.
Clockwork as well left in the pool.
This is, for Falcons, hindsight might, hit Aoi once he sits down. He's like, okay, we banned out, Snap or Willow or
Ooh.
Grim or whatever, and they don't even do any of that.
Wait.
Oh, they're doubting the position 1 Gyro a little bit, it seems like.
Sure.
That's what they're doing here, because
Yeah.
of course we have seen Gyro played as a support before. It's not my preferred hero currently in the patch, and I would hate to see them flex that hard, but
And that's still a cool read, right? Because we're sitting here talking about the 4s, and for Falcons, it's like, I don't think they care about maybe any 4, right? If you're banning like this, it doesn't matter if you're against again, insert any hero I just
pretty
mentioned,
much.
right?
They don't care what the floor is. They just don't want to.
They
be
just want,
They
don't
want
want to give
Parker to be
Parker the
happy.
win condition.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's so much respect from Falcons, and that's exactly what you want to see in game one. And fair play. I think other teams easily would have banned 4 positions, but again, just to really remind Parker, hey, you're the one who's going to win this game.
Another hero that I expected to see here is the highest win rate hero, I believe, still in the tournament, Clockwork. Absolutely untouched. Not banned, not picked. I mean, kind of interesting. These two teams, we're in for a really nice best of 5. I feel like the versatility of them is already showing.
I mean, it's refreshing that our first phase bans are so player heavy, right? It opens up.
It opens up the meta completely.
Exactly.
It really does. So for the last ban for Heroic, do we still want to see that Shaker banned, or is there something else that would do well against the Earth Spirit that they should have in the back of their minds? Because it could still be Pango mid, so they might not
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
it could be.
well, they might not need to ban out a different mid laner, but instead you'd then have to think, do you want to ban out something else
Is
for
there
Amar?
a hero? Yeah, is there a hero that you're that worried for Amar? What else is left in the pool? There's something like a Mars maybe for him, or a Gyro, but all of these heroes playable, but
But that also makes a difference. If Heroic is thinking about a hero for Parker, then they have to respect potentially a hero that would do well against
Wait.
it for Amar.
Timbersaw also is a hero that hasn't been mentioned yet. And
yeah.
But they go for Viper for the laning aspect. Now for Heroic, let's see. Did Falcons correctly read that Parker still wants a carry, or was it just Falcons, over-respecting it? But what do they go for?
Bloodseeker.
Oh, we have seen one.
Yeah.
We have seen one game of the Bloodseeker previously, and it was the best Bloodseeker game I've seen in my life, with like Bloodseeker into Pangolier and a Visage on offlane, getting all that data to use his soul assumptions accordingly. Your matchup into Alchemist is really good. You're playing it into Rolling Thunder as well, so you're always going to have an ultimate to use on a very high priority target. I like it a lot.
20 seconds of reserve time. I'm intrigued to know, is Amar just going to accept the Pango to offlane, sacrifice it a bit, do some weird build just to survive, and then you get,
Something else
Marine on
mid,
a
yeah.
big specialty mid, but
Go for the Timber.
There's
again,
that Timber.
that we mentioned, but who's going to play it? Okay, good. This is what I like. I think for Falcons to feel best into the Bloodseeker Pango matchup, you want your Pango to shift down in core role, go to offlane. I'm sure Amar can also do some weird build where he's maybe going for status resistance or something with an SMY. He can just be weird in the offlane, and now it's like you've put a Bloodseeker as a carry, you've countered Amar, who cares? There's still an Alk and a Timber in the game, right? But Heroic, they should be very happy with their lineup. It's a lot of early game aggression, right? I think Schofield, we haven't mentioned him much so far for Heroic, but wherever he goes, kills can follow, right? If he goes to Bloodseeker with a Gyro, that's death. He moves to mid with Analog, that's kills. So I think Schofield is my key hero for Heroic, but
And watch out for Schofield.
yeah,
Schofield's Tusk, yeah.
Schofield Tusk, exactly.
And it's also such a comfort pick, by the way. If you think through history of his gameplay, through many different teams, he was always this brawler type position 4. He has the highest death per minute in this tournament, and he's still at the grand finals. So overall, yeah, I can understand this draft, specifically with the Bloodseeker. There's so many niche things about him. It's very peculiar, no mana on the first spell, a Rupture working against all of them. You have so much AoE damage as well, coming from the Gyro support, from the Sand King, from the Earth Spirit, of course, as well. So he should be zooming around really fast in these mid-game fights.
Yeah. So do we? Because we didn't predict, but do we have a favorite now that we've seen the drafts? I just want game one. I just want to know who we feel draft. If you remove the team names, who has the upper hand?
Look, right now, I really don't like the Gyro as a support overall.
Okay.
I can see how it fits in, but what did we discuss earlier? We discussed, I want these supports to support Parker in some form, in some fashion. I want these items that actually go and help him out in these team fights. I feel like you're going to get a lot of movement speed. Fair enough, from all the damage the Gyro dishes out. But besides that, the utility is almost non-existent.
Okay, well, maybe you're not a fan, but I know someone who is a fan. It is none other than Coach Cavs, who we're going to listen to before we head into game one.
Absolutely. They said you were a fan of your own team. Is this how you feel? Are you a fanboy or you're their leader?
Both, I guess.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, I've got some bad news for you. I think you might have forgotten that Clockwork exists. Not banned, not picking the series, if I'm correct. What's up, man? Do you know this hero has the highest win rate here?
Yeah, I know. We and Navi set the trend on the Sway stage, but yeah, we definitely bought up that name in the draft a couple times. Don't worry about it.
All right, you still remember. That's good. The secret weapon comes out, the Bloodsuka. Very excited to see this hero again. What makes this team worthy of you guys bringing out this incredible hero, which is an amazing game that you played last time?
Yeah, like with the new facet on Pango, he just rolls faster, then he bleeds faster.
That's right. Fantastic.
It was a good game overall as well, and like we needed a blind pick, a blind hero, so it doesn't have a lot of counters, you know?
Yeah. I was very impressed, by the way, with you guys floating that gyrocopter. I know last time we said that, you guys really like to play that hero, but sometimes he doesn't fit in the draft. So did you purposely pick that a little early so they thought it was a support and all that jazz? Or is that just, what happened?
Yeah, I think you got the right read, you know?
Oh!
I'm not gonna say anything. Slark is a drafting mastermind.
Oh, no. It's all good. I just flip a coin and...
You ever thought of being a coach?
No.
I think we need some more good coaches in this.
Yeah, I'm
game,
sure
you know?
you would love it if I was Falcons coach for this series. I'm
Yeah,
sure that would be fantastic for you. Unfortunately, you'll have to keep praying as we will see your team playing right now for our Game 1 of the Grand Finals. Let's get this party started, baby. Woo!
Thank you so much, Slacks, Caps. He's feeling pretty comfortable right now. I feel like they're pretty happy to be in the grand finals. What an awesome way to start it off. We have a Bloodseeker, and when Pango rolls faster, he bleeds faster. Kind of cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic counter pick, and I think perhaps also part of the rationale here was the panel we're looking at, and they were like, okay, maybe Timber last pick. You were also suggesting Timber last pick, so you double dip. That's another hero that's good to Rupture, so you have multiple good options here for Parker. Obviously, when you reach level 25, as you see here, pointed out by the observers, you get 2 of them. I'm not sure if that's a thing you game plan for necessarily. Oh, let's just get level 25 on our carry, but I mean, historically in this tournament, Heroic, they get Parker there a lot of the time, so perhaps that is a viable thing to start considering when you're drafting to actually plan for that ultra late game. It does come at the expense of putting King Jungles on the 5 Gyro. This hero can be quite volatile. The lane itself of Gyro Bloodseeker is a little bit of a weird one, because generally what Gyro wants as a support is to play with a carry that has a stun or a slow, so that you can stay on people with Rocket Barrage. So we'll see how that one goes. And yep, I was wondering if this exact thing was going to happen. Caps is like, yeah, Pango roll faster, bleed faster? Well, what if you just don't take that facet then? He took the double jump. So he's expecting that he can't get the maximum value out of Rolling Thunder, so he's just going to focus on the other abilities his hero has instead.
Just don't skill it, man. Go stats. Why not?
Yeah.
Interesting. By the way, there has been a lot of all chat so far in this game. I feel like these teams, very much, they're also not taking the route of like muting each other. They're having back and forths in the game, which I think is pretty interesting. Crit, you saw there at the beginning, was, saying something to the tune of, yeah, you can ban Pang on, and it was an interesting dynamic.
It seems that the 2 teams that all chat in the finals, so do with that information well. Perhaps if you're winning a lot, you get confident, you talk more, or perhaps talking more makes you play better.
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Not really.
Absolutely.
KJ gonna spam out some flak. Not always seen, and it's worth noting he did take that afterburner, so we'll just be able to get in on top of these heroes with the Rocket Barrage, and we'll see how these lanes work out. As you can see already, Timbersaw gonna have a nice time out of that mid lane and trying to put the pressure onto Analog, who already is down a little bit in the CS. Not a huge margin, but just a bit.
Yeah. Completely free lane for Timbersaw. There's just nothing. Earth Spirits aren't that scary either, because you bring in a Tusk here, you bring in a Gyro. I think they genuinely cannot touch Malrine, and that's probably why they just picked this hero, because they feel like, all right, Malrine's going to have a completely free lane. Let's see what he can do in the game with it. Parker actually taking some serious harassment up top.
Schofield down bottom, gonna get hit by this stun. The blood grenade is out. Still has 7 stick charges, trying to get to the far side. Shard's back up soon, but Snake King gonna draw first blood. That's actually pretty nice to get on the CM. As a support player, sometimes I say that, but I'm sure
Yeah,
Skinner would have
I was
rather
just going to
had it.
say, that sounds very biased, as in you play CM and you like getting some gold, not as in you truly
Get the
believe what you
Midas
just
faster.
said. Oh yeah, very good. The misery build. The player, not the noun itself.
Well, maybe a little bit of column A, column B, but
Let's have a bit more of a look at Parker. You heard from Coach Caps, we needed a blind pick as well. And he said Bloodseeker does well in most lanes. So far, he's doing okay. Breaking even with offlane Pango Hoodwink doesn't sound too great to me, and he is taking some serious pressure here. One of the good changes for Bloodseeker in terms of his laning is that Blood Rage is now free, as of, I believe, was it this letter patch even? I think it is. This is the most recent patch. Blood Rage now costs 0 mana, down from 25. So you can use it whenever you want for free. But you obviously need the thirst points to really stabilize the lane.
right. And notably, Crit actually is not starting. Hoodwink now just brings out the magic stick. But with so much spam in this lane between KJ and Parker, I feel like it's just free stick charges all day. They're going to have a pretty hard time bringing down these heroes.
Yeah, how do you... I've seen so little Bloodseeker. I'm just looking through it right now. How do you skill this hero as a carry?
Yeah, I don't know.
So the heal you get from creep kills is your innate, the Sanguivore, right? So it's not tied to Thirst anymore. Thirst just gives move speed and visibility threshold. So I'm just trying to think as a character, you go 4-1-4 still, or is there a different way to do it? We'll see what Parker does. I'm guessing it's just 4-1-4 either way. Because you want that max level Blood Rage. Now that it's free to cast as well, you're just going to spam this and farm the jungle with a Maelstrom, right? So go camp to camp.
I mean, there have been times where we've seen Blood Rite do a lot of damage as well, but it's changed over to magical instead of pure damage over the last patches too.
Yeah.
So a little bit less valuable, that one, compared to what it used to be. And meanwhile, up top, going in on KJ, almost enough for the kill. Afterburner, not going to get him out of there.
And Parker has to get out now too. 5 seconds, Crit has his spells again, and he would just die on the spot. These lanes are going extremely well for Falcons, and they do have the Alchemist too. Oh, he might be in trouble though. Nice, you're very welcome, Falcons. I did mention you were doing great, and Alk was having a good game, so he will of course die 3 seconds later.
Very good.
So we check down there. All right, take your pick. Who do you want to have a good game here?
How about CM?
Bad game, sorry.
Yeah, CM, snaking.
You want CM to have a bad game?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Snaking's been playing really well so far. He got the first blood, which is very good.
Yeah.
That's probably going to keep him safe for the rest of the game.
Okay, I like it.
Yep. I give him... I feel like I'm doing some sort of death note here. I need to give him a timer as well. Say let's give him 1 minute 20, and he will die of ice shards. How about
But
that?
now you're blocking it out. You're doing the counter thing. That's the
true.
problem.
Maybe it's not going to work then.
You know who might be getting in some work here is
Power
Malrine gets an Arcane Rune, and now starting to make the move up top, but KJ, they see him. And Malrine, well, he does a double back. Maybe they will make a move up here. All right, he's unsure too. Does not want to go to the lane. He just wants to walk in the river.
It's going to be interesting to see how Amar itemizes this game as well. Since he's off to a good start on the Pango, if he was having a bad lane and countered by Rupture, I think sometimes you just go like whatever you can do for your team. Some sort of team item like Greaves, Pipe, or whatever.
Parker?
Oh my God, he's almost killing him alone. But it does look like the idea for Amar for now is treads into Pipe. So no defusal. Lined up. I guess his mindset is, if I'm going to get ruptured, I'll just survive as long as I can and make my team stronger.
Okay.
But so again, the ultimate build is the same as if he was having a bad lane, but getting it this much earlier actually might make your hero very useful, despite having that bad matchup. See you later, Analog. Arcane Rune, Timbersaw spells 3-second cooldown on the chain. Runs him down in the jungle, and I guess Malrine tipping him for 2 reasons. First of all, he killed him, but secondly, why on earth did you roll into the area with the most trees instead of straight down the lane?
Yeah,
perhaps you could have lived then. So a little bit of a misstep there.
Come back to lane, shove it out. They will be able to hold on to this for a moment with the Tusk, but this was a last pick overall Timbersaw. Now, There is a TP back up top. I was wondering if we were going to see any type of a move eventually from the Bloodseeker through the gate, but instead it's going to be a move up top where they find Amar, now trying to get him, immediately breaking that TP. Crit goes down too, and just like that, Falcons, they're going to lose 2 heroes as Heroic try and break down this laning stage.
Yeah. They bring all 3 cores top, but 2 kills probably worth it. This does free up Skitter to have completely free time with the TP from Divine Llama, but he's gonna gate Rupture.
Sure. What damage can they do? Schofield just goes down. Malrine trying to stand his ground after Burner. Moving in, and Malrine gets away on such low HP. He played that perfectly. They will kick back the CM. So your curse came a little late.
It lived a little longer than expected, but we got him. Yeah, nice play from Malrine, as you said, to outlast the Rupture. It's a 9-second duration level 1, so it's just a matter of finding that right balance of how much do I actually get to move. Because he had to, in that situation, he needed to balance between tanking the Rocket Barrage or taking the Rupture.
Yeah.
And he chose to run into his wave to mitigate the Rocket Barrage damage, and then he stood still, so made a good call. Still, Heroic with a couple of good moves are keeping the game relatively even.
Amar gets the far side of the shards as Divine Llama is taking out stacks, but they can get this kill onto Amar before his 6. He's just 1 creep away, and he could have maybe rolled out of there, but it is not looking like that's going to happen. Maybe. Need to kill a creep. You need to kill a creep. He gets it. There's 6, but it's too late.
Yeah, Rupture was ready again as well. So he was very dead. Divine.
Wow.
Yeah, this mid Timber, we talked about it. It's really good this game. The only thing you're really worried about is that Rupture, and Parker is not going to be playing all 3 lanes at once, so somebody's going to suffer.
Wise
CP out from
decision.
King Jungles, but they see the stacks. Will Malrine do something about this? No. He'll immediately TP to mid.
I mean, the bigger stack issue is going to be over here, and Heroic need to identify this. Otherwise, somebody is going to get a massive acceleration of gold. And I'm not sure if anybody on Heroic is going on up to check, but Crit has built quite the large stacks at the moment. And Malrine's coming to clear them out. Yeah, watch the net worth 5,000 at the start of this. And we'll just keep on scooting on up the levels here.
Yeah, so he gets about 500. And by extension, Crit gets like, what's that, about 150, 200, I guess?
Oh my goodness.
Another big stack here. It's going to propel the Hoodwink up nicely.
Yeah, that's about, well, now it's a 3,000 gold lead, a giant influx of cash.
Yeah.
And Malrine going to go straight into the Aghanim Scepter after finishing the Kaya. But maybe this gank is what they need. Analog, they break the smoke. Amar spots him. Going to try and roll away from this one. There's the roll up, and now the Rupture. Amar in trouble. They drop it down, can kick him to death if they want. Analog comes in for the last touch. And now, finding more, Malrine shows up, tries to kill off the Gyrocopter. King Jungles is dead. Analog does manage to make a rollout play happen. Trying to dodge somehow. Doesn't get hit by that Infinity Sign Chakram. And now they all back away. Epicenter, channeled. Bro, off the mark for Devi. Wanted that kill, but that stops any counter pressure they could have played.
Yeah, you can tell Malrine's mindset. Uh-oh.
Going in,
Oh
Devi.
Oh, he missed that.
Wow. Now Snowball onto CM. Snaking has the ulti at the ready. Schofield is just obliterated by Malrine, who is just a whirling cacophony of
really
damage.
short blink.
Yeah, he just was blinking on his screen. Burrow strike to try and get away. Does Malrine have enough to chase him out? Going all the way in, looking forward, trying to finish. No, can't get him yet. Dodge away, but there he is in. And Malrine gets the kill.
He is doing whatever he wants when Rupture is on cooldown in this game. Could give less of a crap about who's alive. As long as the Rupture isn't there, he will dive you all the way to your basement at 12.
Oh.
You can see that Burrow Strike narrowly missing. Honestly, I don't really know if it would have mattered. Like, what were they going to do to him anyway?
It's fair enough. I mean, I will say that, like, slightly less tanky at this point on Timbersaw, no magic resist item, but you need to bring a lot of heroes to kill him.
Yeah. And you see he's rushing Ags, and once he gets this barrier, until they have a Dispel, Amar.
This is a nice bring down if they can get it, and they will.
They'll get Snay too.
Snowball ready if they need it, but also can just go for the roll in. Now Malrine shows up, and suddenly Schofield is dead.
They absolutely could have killed Snaking there, but perhaps it would have cost them an additional hero.
And now Parker in trouble. This kill cannot afford to happen, but it's going to.
Nice kill by Snaking. Just came in and stole it as Skitter's attack was midair.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, but as you said, kills on Crystal Maiden very good, so
true.
Well worth it. All right, 13-minute Radiance now complete, and that's what's happening in this game while we're watching Malrine just terrorize the entire map with the Rupture on cooldown is Skitter has absolutely no pressure on him. The Alk is just farming away, and on the flip side, the Bloodseeker can't keep up with this pace. The hero just can't farm that fast.
Yeah.
So have to wait and see if Heroic can somehow structure themselves a good team fight a bit later.
I mean, definitely has the feeling that every minute that goes by, Falcons are just getting more out of the map.
Yep.
And it does also beg the question for Heroic, what's your answer to this? Like, you've seen this happen time and again with Falcons, where they'll just stack up that triangle, and it feels that for Heroic, they're just trying to sort of play it a little bit slower, get to their item timings, and then take a fight. But, I mean, they're punishing Amar. They're making him feel bad. No doubt about that. 0-4-2 on the Pango.
But I think that's a really good point, though, right? They keep targeting the lowest value hero in the game. I don't think Amar cares, honestly. If they're going to keep ganking him like this with 3 heroes, their team comms are probably, you know, keep it up.
Yeah.
If he is on the receiving end of all of these heroic plays, the true carries of the game that have a better matchup are the ones that are getting the gold.
You know what's funny? In the player cams, I just saw Devi like look up because they can see each other on land. So he's like looking at Amar to see what his reaction was, I think, when he killed him.
And then Amar flipped him off, but we cut away from that one.
So 15 and a half minutes. It's a 5,000 gold lead for Falcons.
Yep.
And we have seen the bullying of Amar continue here as they're trying to take this Pango completely out of the game. Will it matter, though? As we'll see this replay here of what just went down.
Rupture. And this is a bigger one.
Yeah, he's looking. Look at him. He's looking as they go in and kill Malrine.
Yep, they got him. They ruptured him. They silenced him. They stunned him. The whole package, and he had no counterplay. Next time around, there will be that Ags. So curious to see what Heroic are going to do about that.
Moves in, Skitter tries to find it, stunned, Schofield dead. Now Analog also in trouble. A little bit of retribution, they get the silence onto the Pango, not onto Snake King. So Falcons fight back after losing their Timbersaw. And Snake King again with the kill steal.
Do you buy... So Bloodseeker is now going Ags to get that Blood Mist up and running, which will give him a barrier. There's a lot of barriers in this game. He's going to get Blood Mist, you've got the Pipe on Pango, you've got the Ags on Timber, you've got the double jump Shield Crush. There's a ton of barriers, and I'm not seeing anybody currently planning for Dispels.
Right.
What you can do is you can buy a Yule against Timber. We've seen teams do that earlier on in the tournament, so as soon as he pops that reactive armor, you just immediately remove it so you get a chance to kill him in the fight. I'm a little bit concerned for Heroic about whether the damage is going to be there when he pops that Ags. Ultimately, when Malrine has BKB, it won't matter, because then you can't Yule him anymore, and he's just going to go in and activate both at the same time and be a monster, but for the time being, that could be a potential solution.
Making another move now onto Analog. Will not be able to connect in there for a kill. I mean, again, like, these net worths, a lot of that gold lead right now is by virtue of, like, 1,000 or so gold on the supports, and then the Alchemist.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, within the realm of, like, okay, I guess Devi also is a little bit lower there on the cores, but I guess it's mainly analog that's a little bit behind his mid counterpart.
Well, it's definitely not an insurmountable lead.
Sure.
Especially when you go late enough in the game, Bloodseeker is actually very good against Alchemist, because this hero starts hitting like an absolute truck against single targets. You're going to get the shard at some point. It used to be better. It used to be percentage-based damage, but it's still going to be 35 pure, and Al can't, you know, prevent that extra damage from coming his way. Whether Parker's going to buy it or get it from the Tormentor, it will happen eventually. And Bloodseeker reaches a late game point where he runs and attacks extremely fast and just will overpower the Alk. So the question is for Falcons if they feel comfortable with... Many of their games have gone to 50 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I can't say with confidence that this isn't a game that Bloodseeker can truly hard carry. I kind of can't believe I'm saying that out loud. That I have not said that in feels like 4 years, but the game develops. Things change. Heroes get better. Heroes get worse. The facet that he has, the Blood Rush, allows him to activate his Thirst for 50 mana and then move faster at whenever he wants.
It is kind of cool just getting like that active movement speed bonus. We haven't seen him activate it or use it all that much, but it does have a feeling like...
the other option Bloodseeker even has is...
It was... Oh, I don't remember. It's the punching them and they move.
Oh yeah, when you hit ruptured units, they get pushed 50 range.
Yeah.
That's so random.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, you can take the Ballista out of the game, but we'll put it on Bloodseeker as a facet.
It's been a while. By the way, Bloodseeker is queuing up the BKB and has that in his quick buy before the Ags now. So we might see him go for that just to try and sort of survive through this period of the game when Falcons do start to hit rather hard. BKB almost done for Alk on top of the Blink Dagger. They have that Ags on Timber now, and Pango Pipe done going for a Blink.
Skitter, he finds Parker. This would be a big one.
Mjolnir out. Oh, the Drinking Buddies dodge! And then he TP's out. Oh, what a play!
So clutch!
Yo, Schofield God! And Parker heads up play to recognize his safety there. That was really cool.
That is such a sick save, my God.
KJ not gonna be so lucky, I don't think, unless, well, actually, all the cores went down to kill Parker.
Malreen's on the way, but he doesn't have Blink, so he's not gonna get there in time. Well, I take it back. Another great combination.
Ooh, KJ goes down.
Crit will just kill him alone. He had Arcane Rune. I didn't realize. He was just running him down with the Hoodwink. Spell cooldown's very low, so... Yep. All right. Something you... Once again, this hero hasn't been picked very much, the Bloodseeker, but what you're often looking for in your lineup when you're playing BS is you want to play with teammates that do a lot of just random AoE damage so that your Thirst can get up and running. In this case, he's playing with both the Earth Spirit and the Sand King.
Right.
So the classic #1 combination for Bloodseeker is always going to be Zeus. You ult the enemy team, you cast a couple of spells, they're all down to like 60% or whatever, and Bloodseeker becomes a Ferrari. In this case, the damage buildup is going to be a little bit slower, but ultimately, if you do get there, you can imagine, you can start picturing the type of fight that Parker could find later on, where they get in there, they do some good damage on some of the Falcons heroes, and he just becomes overwhelming with Blood Mist and with the Mjolnir on himself. He just... in that sense, about the fact that Falcons have a couple of heroes that regenerate health naturally.
Yeah.
Timbersaw as well as Alk will be harder to keep down on low health for the Earth Spirit and the Sand King, and you combine that with the Pipe of the Pango, will make it a little trickier for Heroic to find that exact type of fight that they want, but ultimately it is the way their lineup works, so they're going to be looking for it without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, this is the BKB completed, and now it seems both teams looking for a bit of a battle.
This is a big moment for Heroic. I'll break them.
Bloodstone. Bloodstone done. Stun onto both of them. Epicenter out the hits. They keep on coming. Skinner is gone. Snaking out of there as well. They have the Ags on Malreen, which is going to pop, but everybody from Heroic is very, very tanky right now. Crit getting ran down by KJ and by Parker, and they're just all gone. I mean, the only one that gets away is Malreen. What a great fight for Heroic.
It's such a good initiation. They just find their smoke breaks and he's just in there. He just blinks in, finds a double stun, and they pile all their spells on top of him. That's the exact thing Bloodseeker wanted. They got fast burst damage out. I mean, as much as they have.
Right.
They got a lot of damage out pretty quickly in the first 5 seconds. And Parker just got to go in completely freely. Malrine.
Going in for Parker, but the TP's now coming in. Does he have a way to get out of here? It
Should
looks
be
like
okay.
it, knowing his limits.
He has a shield rune and reactive armor.
Yeah, he's very big.
I don't know if they're cutting through this, but that was already an awesome fight for the side of Heroic. And it's so important, too, because this is the phase of the game where you're going to see the replay there. Very nice stun. They get the snowball in on Skitter. And he's punched during his BKB, and Parker is he's just spam clicking him, you know?
Yeah.
Alchemist did not get to play at all, not tanky enough yet to survive through this.
And the trees were down up there, so Malrine couldn't even get away for a moment. As soon as, I mean, this is the other thing. Like, if Bloodseeker's on you as Hoodwink, you know, or as CM in this game, what do you do? Like, you really don't have an option, it feels like.
The classic item against Bloodseeker is just Ghost Scepter.
Right.
At some point, Parker is probably going to buy a Nullifier to deal with that if there's going to be multiple of them coming out, but you want to force him to do that.
Right.
Bloodseeker doesn't really kill heroes very well with anything else than Rupture, and he's absolutely not going to use it on the supports, because he needs to reserve it for the Pango or for the Timber. So you can trust that your Ghost Scepter will keep you safe and you can just stay mobile in the fight. With the same logic, you can also buy a Force Staff, because he's not rupturing you, so you can buy some distance. And you need to outlast the BKB. At that point, Bloodseeker is controllable. You can solve him that way. As, let's see, what's Parker cooking here? Schofield will die.
I think that he's going back for the Ags now.
He was just queuing up Radiance, and now he bought the Blade of Alacrity.
Yeah.
Blade of Alacrity and Shard, so it is Ags. Okay. I was questioning the Radiance, so I'm happy he swapped away from it. It was the next thing I was going to bring up was I don't know if that's equally good. I think the Blood Mist should just be better, especially when he has his Shard up and running as well. And this Shard, you farm too.
Yeah.
It's 35 damage, right? On everything you hit. As long as you're Blood Raged, and you're going to use that non-stop, it's a 8-second cooldown, 8-second duration, so you can just spam farm with this.
You know, I'm wondering, like, because one thing that I'm thinking about that would really destroy this game for Heroic is a Diffusal Blade on Pango and then like losing all your mana on these heroes. There's a couple of heroes that really hate that. And I wonder if so much of the pressure that they put on Amar early was to force him into this more utility type of build where he doesn't manage to get into a couple of those key items early. Because he's not going for it and is having to go for more of this like support the team style.
You could make the case that Diffusal was actually an option this game because his lane went as well as it did, but it's... if even Amar doesn't do it, nobody would have done it here, right?
That's fair.
He's going to go for Lotus next. That is the best protection that he has. He can't really rely on Lincolns to deal with the Bloodseeker, but if he at least Lotuses himself when he goes in...
They find him caught,
he's just dead.
And killed, and now CM going for more. It will reveal the ward that they have, but that's the type of reveal you want to get.
Well worth it. Every out kill is a couple of percentage points higher win chance for your line.
Amar in trouble. They get the stun out, tries to roll away, but the silence is there. And another death for the Pango, likely? They're all melee though. Amar?
TP?
He's gonna go for it now. And the Burrow Strike not gonna happen. He gets away. They did not have the chain stun.
Devi didn't think he needed to epi. He canceled it. That would have been the kill. I feel like it's hard to fault him for it because that looked quite... It looked like a reliable kill, but I guess he didn't account for the fact that Amar has roll up.
Yeah.
So that shard saving him there. He'll still get the grand prize as it looks heroic.
I mean,
worth the Roshan.
Into the pit they go.
Bloodseeker's top net worth over Alk.
Like, this is what I'm saying. It's still a 5,000 gold lead for Falcons, but, I mean, am I wrong in assuming that this is great for Heroic here?
Oh, this is great for sure. Especially considering you think back 10 minutes in this game and Falcons had a 7k lead. So that's why these Alchemist kills are so impactful. It's not just that you slow him down, but the bounty you get for these kills is absolutely massive, and it's been Parker involved in the multiple of the kills on the Alk, so he just gets so much his way. And we're gonna reach the point here where it starts. Hang on.
No.
Schofield should be dead here.
Just the classic for him.
Yep. Lightning Rod. Wonder if Skitter on this Alk, it's 3 deaths in this game. It's not like it's completely tragic, but I wonder how impactful his hero is going to be in general. To boss and kind of run them together with Timber. And since Heroic have already shown a pretty clear path to solving the hero at this stage, just imagine when Bloodseeker starts really getting there. He has the Ags now. The big barrier that he's running around with on Parker, it's going to be hard for them to cut through.
Yeah, and notably, unlike the Aghanims for Timbersaw, not dispellable on the Blood Mist.
Yeah.
So just kind of a thorn in the side trying to deal with this, and he is immediately queuing up the Nullifier. So he will have the way to break through their barriers, and they cannot do the same for him.
Yeah, and he can just pick a target and kill it. They can't force staff them, they can't solar them, they can't glimmer them.
Instead of the spell life steal.
Wants to me. He's planning for level 20.
Yeah.
Rupture targets in the fights from along that makes his fights and his games so much easier. So definitely agree with these choices. And in the same vein, he chose the Rupture initial damage over the Bloodright damage on 15 as well. It's very much focused on that Rupture aspect of the hero.
Well, Falcons, even though they're holding on to the gold lead, buildings might start to fall soon. They are going to TP in and try and take this fight. He gets Eul's Scepter up right at the beginning. And actually did get the spell, went away there. Not sure if I saw that wrong or not, or if it just went away. But the damage out from Parker pops the BKB. Blood Mist on, time to fight. The chase down is there onto CM, slowly whittling her down. Analog rolls out and damage out gone. He's already dead. Divine Llama in on top of Maureen. Skinner is there too. Amar rolling back and forth, trying to kill off this Bloodseeker, but the Force Staff gets him away. He's away for a moment now. The epicenter out. Do they have enough damage to kill him? Yes, they do. This is the fight that they were waiting for on Falcons. And will KJ will throw out the missile and try and kill off Amar. They actually get him. A double kill for KJ in the midst of all of this.
Maureen's out of mana.
He's in some trouble there. They won't be able to run all these heroes down, and KJ just going to try and escape as Divine Llama is left behind. But no, there is nowhere for this gyrocopter to go. Snaking will throw out a slow, and 4 are going to die. It does cost them a buyback or 2.
Yeah, 2 support buybacks for that for Falcons. It's the Aegis fight, so it will be very long. And I guess we got our answer about Blood Mist there. So the barrier you have can be dispelled, but I guess the running effect of Blood Mist being activated cannot be dispelled.
Interesting.
That's how I'm interpreting it, because I saw the same as you. I think they just Euled off his barrier when they went on him. Which seems like the...
Maybe it's like once it's active, it's not dispellable, because you have like that passive stuff and then you can turn it on. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange one, but it says cannot be dispelled, and it definitely did.
You see there, the barrier's just gone, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the thing you can't dispel is when he activates it and he's running around bleeding in the fight.
Okay.
That is running constantly.
Got it.
Seemingly can remove the barrier. And that's quite important, because otherwise, I think Amar would not have bought this Eul. So we already saw him looking at the Lotus. He sees the axe come out, he buys Eul. So he knows. He knows this interaction. I think it's the only real reason to buy Euls over Lotus here. So that has to be just flat out knowledge of the hero. And can't say I'm surprised, because guess what? Amar actually loves playing Bloodseeker, so he would know. And the Blood Mist is a very logical build to go if you're playing offlane Bloodseeker, which he has in the past. Very close game, though, so far. Still feels like if Heroic find another fight where they kill the supports early, the next time it's not going to be a 5-on-7. It'll be a 5-on-5.
And worth noting, too, that you get more and more answers as this game goes later. Are you still feeling, based upon what we've seen so far, that the Bloodseeker can carry this in the late game?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's not there yet. I think part of the reason this hero is so unpopular is it needs a lot of stuff. Many of the other carries that you're seeing be successful, let's say Gyro, Alk, whatever, they can have major impact around the minute 25 to 30 and do so much with 3 or 4 items. Bloodseeker himself can't really do that. He's reliant on the team setting him up and then being the cleanup crew. So he's a lot less independent than most of the popular carries. But when you do get there in the late game with this Bloodseeker, it can be one of the strongest carries in Dota when you have the right cast for it.
I guess the other thing to think about with that last fight and how it went down was that it was Bloodseeker getting gone on at the beginning, and then the rest of Heroic had to catch up and get there in order to join in the fight.
So they did not get the initial damage off that makes Parker strong.
Yeah.
And in this situation as well, this is what is going to be essential in this game, is outlast the BKB of the Bloodseeker.
Right.
Knowing Parker and how he's played in this tournament, he'll get 6 slotted and he'll get a refresher, so you'll have to outlast 12 eventually. But yeah, that's going to be the name of the game, is can you kite the Bloodseeker? Can you survive the first salvo of spells so that you can turn it around and kind of just control them with all your stuns?
Dude, the alt chat in this is very strange. Apparently they have slippery fingers now, so that's fine. Gonna go on in and take down the Tormentor now. There'll be a free giveaway there to Devi. We already saw the Bloodseeker buy his own shard.
Yep.
So a little bit of an injection of gold, as Falcons had already taken theirs. And now Scan connects. KJ gonna lay down a ward. Malrine zipping in, spots the gyro.
Bottles of haste here as well.
Yeah, just gonna get hit by a missile. Yeah, seems to be a bit of a reset while they wait for the next set of items, and that is the nullifier completed for Parker now.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see his target prioritization. Parker has had an insane tournament. I think a lot of people agree that he's maybe been the MVP of the whole event so far. This nullifier isn't particularly good at killing the Alk or the Timber. So it leads me to believe that what Parker wants to do when the fights break out is actually not go on the course, but just very quickly clean up the supports and build the fight that way. Take advantage of the initial damage his teammates do to be fast, activate his Thirst with that Blood Rush facet, and just go straight into the Hoodwink. She's going to have a hard time protecting herself with just the Glimmer Cape because it doesn't work.
They also give the gem to Parker. So he's
okay,
like...
we'll definitely find the Hoodwink then.
Yeah, they're going all in, I think, on killing both the CM and the Hoodwink. Like, there's nothing that they can do to protect themselves. He goes on him. Malrine in on him at the beginning. Still waiting.
Okay.
Not the perfect fight for him so far, holding on to the BKB. Yule Scepter lift up. Skinner, he's caught in no man's land. Amar rolls forward. Yule Scepter lift up onto the Bloodseeker. Still fine, pops the BKB. Now Malrine is taking down KJ, but look at the supports going down dead. Defy Llama waited for the moment, finds it. Now Schofield is going to fall, so no supports left in this engagement. Burrow Strike connection onto 2. Do they have enough to go back in for Parker? It doesn't look like it. He's got to be careful here. Now starting to hit onto Malrine, but the BKB turnaround takedown. They get that kill. Analog is able to secure the gem, but one bash comes in and finds Devi Llama.
He might still get out, though.
Held that BKB for so long, but in the end is going to be chased down here and killed. So the fight, it started okay, but these big tanky cores hard to deal with.
Ironically, this fight went the directly opposite way of what I thought it would from Parker.
Yeah.
So he runs in front, ruptures the Alk, who's caught in the shards. Then he runs toward him, gets Yuled by the Pango to remove the Blood Mist barrier. And then Parker pops BKB and he's just standing there hitting the Alk. He can't kill him. He doesn't have significant single target damage just yet against this tanky core, so he wastes his entire BKB. In the meantime, the Sand King kills both supports, which I thought Parker was meant to be doing, and you get into this really awkward position where you've used Rupture, you've used Epicenter, you killed the 2 supports, but you traded away 2 heroes for it as well, and then what does Bloodseeker really do afterwards? He's out of juice. They just run him down and kill him, and he's not strong enough to fight back. The fights have to go better than that for Parker, and I just don't agree with using BKB and hitting the Alk. You're the only right-click damage your team has. You cannot kill him when he's BKB'd and standing still.
Right. And I think that maybe even just waiting on that Rupture. Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's losing the fight. He had to run away from Skidder.
I think that using the Rupture on the Alk to I mean, again, there's arguments about where you want to place it. Obviously, when he gets 25, that's when things start to feel a lot better, and he can rupture 2 targets, but I feel like waiting on Pango is just priority number 1. But regardless, it does not work as well, and Parker not happy with how that went either. Oh, man. He's going to be scratching his
I thought
head.
I would hit for 700 per attack, but it's only 200.
Yeah, not great.
Guess I need more last hits. It's going to go far.
Whoa, Aghanim Scepter bought by Alk.
Okay. Let's see who's giving it to.
Very interesting.
Is he going to give it to Malrine?
Maybe he just wants the stats.
I think he's going to give it to Malrine, and Malrine will become a boss, right? Yep.
Okay.
Malrine gets the refund, so that's a hex. So Skitter just bought Malrine a hex, essentially.
Now,
And Malrine's level 25, so can't blame him. He's the real carry of the game. Malrine is enormous now. He just got this flat-out 4.2k gold injection onto the Timber. And I guess what Falcons are seeing unfold here is that Heroic just can't deal with the Timber at all.
yeah.
Malrine has completely free reign in the fight, so they're going to make him the true carry of the game. I like this. I think it's a good choice. He has shown that, I mean, he's 14-1 for a reason. And the total damage there, look how much pure damage this Timber has done in the game.
I mean, and this is always a bit of a meme, but I do think eventually it might be where you need to go for Heroic, thinking about some of these like rupture kicks type situations.
Oh, I definitely agree. I don't think that's a meme. I think the Tusk needs to get eggs, but hasn't really been a plan for Schofield so far. He's gone Eul, Solar, and now he's going Blink. But yeah, rupturing a core and then Walrus kicking them and then Boulder smashing them is a ton of damage and a way to get Bloodseeker into the fight. For now, you're going to have to contend with the Falcon side, now with an Aegis as well. Wonder who they're putting it on. Seems to be Skitter that has a slot ready instead of his BKB.
Just a little bit late to this area. Heroic now realizing that they are not going to be able to take that fight at all. Malrine can brazenly run up in front. No real worry from him. But yeah, still waiting on what they go for here. I mean, this really feels like it's just all on 25. You know, 2 rupture charges, going refresher.
But okay, I'm not sold that's enough, and the reason is, what if they just stand
Yes,
still?
I know. I know what you mean. I hear ya.
The Alk is farmed, and really, the Timber, you rupture Malrine, he stands still, and he's gonna high-five you and pop his Shiva. He has 28 armor. He has reactive armor that he can activate. He has BKB Hex, Octarine Core. He is massive. So who do you rupture? I agree, you definitely rupture Pango. Be careful of the Lotus, though. But get a rupture on him. But who's your second target that feels really good?
I mean, yeah, it's Alk. Some amount of damage onto Malrine. Maybe he just kills himself. Who knows? Like, he can. You do also have like the less good version of the kick, which is going to be the Boulder Smash that you can use to try and push people around. Some Force Staffs. Like, we're reaching here, but it feels like that's the goal.
I would really like to see Schofield buy Axe over Blink. I feel like it's the winning strategy here because that's how you make the second rupture good. Schofield won't get either item right now.
Instantly dead as they run in to take this fight. Is this really the fight you want to take?
This is into Aegis, and you have to buy back a hero, and you're losing your tower, so now, yeah.
They roll in, they don't find him. Analog hits nobody, no stun, no silence, no nothing. The buyback, Schofield is gone. Now you have ruptures. Divine Llama goes out with the epicenter. Actually got interrupted, though, it looks like. And now Parker trying to do what damage he can. He actually brings them somewhat low. The second round of rupture, Malrine running. Malrine killed himself. It was the plan all along. Oh my God, they got him. Cinderin, don't you have egg on your face now?
He didn't stand still.
He didn't stand still. Look at it.
Wow, just so much random residual damage over time. They're getting, they cut through him, and they made the perfect call here to just this time. I feel like Parker learned his lesson from the previous fight. He ignored Alk.
Exactly.
He's just like, whatever, dude. Do what you want. I'm killing the other heroes. And this is the #1 difference maker. Imagine that. Schofield buys back TP's in and casts nothing. He's instantly dead. This is a 4v5. but Parker gets to do whatever he wants, and this time around, not going on Skitter. Who knows? Maybe if you had the Aegis on the Timbersaw, that would have been amazing, but they wanted to have the Kaya instead here. And you're seeing the fight, Malrine. He's standing still now. Pops BKB. But yeah, Parker's just doing so much damage.
It is kind of crazy. And then this Rupture gets off right as he goes for the Timber Chain away.
Nice timing, yeah.
Very well played. And so much gold. He got 2,500 gold for that?
Yep. That was a fat streak on someone. Who was it? It was Malrine had a 10-kill streak. Parker got 1,200 bounty plus a shared bounty for it.
Insane.
Skitter.
Malrine's still dead for a little bit. The Rupture, the long-range connection. Skitter trying to stand still. Are they going to go all in for him? I mean, this is the counter.
Yeah, they need to get out. This is a really good call to back. See if they do manage to find the escape.
Oh, good Yules. Schofield precast there on Skitter to get him away.
Okay.
Whew.
He has a lot of Ruptures on Parker. He has potential of 4 with the Refresher Orb and the 2 Talent. You do refresh both, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah.
So he has 4 Ruptures at his disposal. Let's see how Falcons solve this problem now.
I mean, the Blood Rage amplification with this is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like you've talked about. And then on top of that, he's going in for a Scotty now on the Bloodseeker. You can see still very even between these two squads. 60-40 is what they're giving us at the moment. But this heal reduction will be very, very valuable.
Divide.
Oh. No.
Uh-oh. Ansel, this is bad.
Gotta roll, gotta get out. It's not gonna happen. Both dead.
Just catch them in a moment of love. I want to call that just lapse of focus with 2 cores just showing and nobody nearby to protect them. Just get jumped and killed off. Very nice and easy for Falcons. No buyback on the Sand King. They do have it on Earth Spirit, but wonder how much Falcons can this.
This is, I think, the real problem with Falcons is that you need to play perfect against them at all times. And if you're not, the game really can turn on its head. They hit so many of these opportunities when they shouldn't be able to otherwise. Malrine goes to kill Schofield. And a BKB TP out from Parker.
Uh-oh. 2 heroes without buybacks. Falcons. Well, they don't have their entire team there, so they might be a little bit cautious, worried about the buybacks, but here comes Skitter. Skitter, by the way, has a nullifier now.
4 Ruptures.
Yep.
But what if he just stands still and hits your base?
I mean, at this point, you're not worried at all. If the heroes aren't buying back, it's not like Parker's going to kill Skitter.
Yeah.
So, we'll go to work. That's an interesting banner. I don't know if that was really necessary, but it looks cool, and it's a statement banner. Let's call it that.
Flamethrower takes down the buildings, and just like that, it's a full set of racks. What a couple of mistakes can do.
You know, we're talking about these late game builds. Snaking, 225 attack speed. Never say never. Gonna go for that Abyssal Blade. No, he's not. BKB. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay. So they get a lane of racks. That's a big mistake from Heroic. Their first true blunder of the game, it feels like. But that's a costly one. Loses them 2 cores in the lane of barracks for nothing. Just as the game was starting to look really promising for them, they lose 10,000 gold.
And in to farm a little bit more. So Schofield does have 3,300 gold in his inventory right now, and could be looking towards that Aghanim Scepter.
Oh, he's getting BKB?
He has it queued up right now. I feel like he's willing himself, like changing the items slowly over. Eventually he gets the Ags.
Maybe based on these previous fights, he's like, I can't play my hero. Like every time I go in, I just get hexed and killed. There is a solution to that in being a bit more patient, perhaps. Having somebody else go in first. Your Sand King can lead the charge. Devi is super tanky, and he has Bloodstone, Refresher, BKB Yules. So maybe you can structure the fight slightly differently so the Tusk can wait. Well, he has committed now. It is that BKB, so Ags for Schofield very, very far away. He's going Lotus Orb next.
Maybe if they win this
he
Roche
just
fight,
doesn't.
though.
Yeah, he wants to get it from Roche.
Yeah.
He wants Alchemist to buy him one.
Maybe. About to ensue. Malrine, they ping in this area. They picked up.
Malrine also has refresher. He
Analog.
is filthy.
Smoke immediately broke Hex. Can they get him out alive? Pull him in, drinking buddies. BKB gets off. And now controlled for the moment. He's already taking a ton of damage. Parker running in, killing off Skitter. Killing off Skitter. He does go down. Malrine, second salvo now of rushers, but they've already lost the gyrocopter. Blinks off to the side. Parker taking down and killing Amar. They buy back on Skitter. Gets back into this fight, and the Red Heroic are going to TP away. Oh, they got him. Parker gets caught. In trouble, going to die.
He doesn't have buy.
Oh,
uh-oh. If Falcons know the buyback status, the game is over. Amar would buy back in a heartbeat right now and they would push down mid and finish, but they don't know for a fact. They aren't sure how much gold Parker really has in the bank after the fight they just took, so they might just settle for. Definitely still going to push and try to find out.
And Parker also has bought 4 mangoes apparently somehow in his inventory. He's missing buyback by 350 gold with a bounty rune. He actually might have been there.
Uh-oh.
Tier 3 tower goes down, and Falcons maybe sensing the moment. Do they go all the way in for this now? They're thinking about it. Still 50 seconds without the blood. Still a tier 2 tower bottom. So they're either going tier 4s or they're going... Which call are they going to go? Or Falcons, ever the ones to be it safe. They're going to back away.
Yeah. There is no Roche yet, though, so this becomes contestable for the Heroic.
Interesting.
But man, in that fight, did you notice how fast Skitter actually died?
It was very quick.
So these ruptures are doing quite a lot of just initial damage when he casts them. He used it as a dagger against the Alk. I think he ruptured him just back to back and just ran in and killed him. So we're gonna see the replay here. Let's see how this breaks out. How the hell did Skitter die so fast? He's going in here, punched up. Look at the rupture.
Yeah, he's down to a 3rd HP with 2 ruptures.
Did he use both of them? Yeah, he did, right? He used them back
and then
to back.
refresher and use the next ones on to Amar here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's showing how strong this build can be if you get everything working in concert. But of course, the big pick off here being really rough. I wonder if he maybe could have just ran away. He took a little while to TP there, but regardless, does not end up mattering. And also has a Dagon now.
Running away from Malrine is very difficult.
Fair.
He is very mobile with Dagger and Timber Chain. Also level 28, so we're approaching that 30 point for him as well, where the Timber Chain will have longer range and fly out faster. And then he'll be able to chase even easier.
Analog comes in with a shield drone. Now Roche is up.
25 on Analog is big. Now Magnetize cannot be dispelled. Falcons have had a lot of dispels in this game. Through the Ewells, Lotus, etc. Analog can now reliably get some damage going and set Parker up for success.
Skitter starts to hit Roche.
Contest this, don't
it's
they?
going to roar, and they are coming back to deal with the creeps. It roars now. Do they go?
Uh-oh.
They gotta get here fast.
It's gonna be kind of close, actually. This is a pretty slow Roche, but now Marine's gonna help.
Now they move in. Now they want to take it. Still an opportunity for Heroic to take a fight after the fact if they want. And Schofield up front and center. Malrine spots him. The Hex! Another time where Malrine is the first point of contact. Snowball backs away. KJ gets hit by the sharpshooter. Now roll in, comes out from Amar. Blink in, Bro Strike. Doesn't hit onto anybody. They will kill off the CM very rapidly. Dude, Snaking is doing so much. How is this happening? They catch him and kill Snaking. Amar, Lotus Orb is on him, waiting, hoping for a rupture, but it doesn't end up coming, and now the Hex, it gets onto Parker, gonna get destroyed, but BKB, he heals up from it, and now hits onto Skitter. Do they have enough to kill him? Yes, they do! That's a full heal! Malrine in trouble. Parker wants to chase down Crit, finds him off in the tree, Snaking bump back for this one too. Divine Llama Epicenter doing good work, but with this Magnetize, look at all the hits. Malrine is dying to it over and over. The missile is coming out, and somehow, some way, Heroic pull out this fight.
My God, was Parker low, but gets the first kill for a 20% heal, and then he kills the Alk and gets a full heal, and you just see the damage. Look how pitiful they are for Falcons. Just nobody dealing any damage with the exception of the Timber doing a measly 4K. How did they do 3 times the damage of Falcons in that fight? I mean, Amar got off his first roll, and then he refreshers, but he's getting isolated off to the side, getting stunned up, and can't finish the job. As you pointed out, I think Snaking, you can't expect more out of your 5 Maiden than buying this much time. And they do kill him. It costs them their 3 BKBs. Amar connects here onto Parker, refreshes, but then he's chain stunned until he dies.
And this right here, I mean, down 43 HP and then a burst heal of 400. And this series that has been so back and forth, we're now with Heroic up on the high ground starting to take racks. I mean, what a swing we've seen. As back in the world here, Schofield sticks around a bit longer. The respawns are about to finish.
It's honestly, it's so insane sometimes in Dota how it's like he's on literal 1% health, right?
Yeah.
And if he dies there, they lose the fight horribly, and instead they crush them. That's just Bloodseeker in a nutshell late game. It's like Huskar on steroids, you know?
Yeah.
You get him low, you just need that last little bit. But with Bloodseeker, it's even worse, because if you don't kill him off, he heals to full, whereas the Huskar might still like coast on 10%. My goodness. All right, now he has an Abyssal on the Bloodseeker, so able to way easier stick on his target, and a good way for him to potentially contest Malrine.
You know what's crazy though is they like now that they have the damage on Bloodseeker, they've got the damage out from Earth Spirit with the Undispellable Magnetize. It does feel like they kind of don't need the kick from Tusk anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's still very good. It would be solid for them, but they don't have to have it. They can win fights without it.
He's queuing up Crimson Guard. This is the ultimate I don't care about Ags.
Yeah.
I don't care about you rupturing 4 times. I will not kick anyone.
Yeah.
Well, he wants it for free, maybe. The good old copium strategy. Don't worry, we will get next Roche.
Surely.
Let's see. This game is still on a knife's edge. It's really good news for Heroic that they managed to win that fight. Without it, we might just be looking at a GG, but now...
Well, and I don't know if the next fight goes as well for them, because that was also a bottled shield rune, and Analog took basically no damage the entire fight.
That is true. And perhaps in the next fight, Amar will get off 2 rolls with his refresher. This time he didn't get to do the chain.
Yeah.
So there are definitely things that can go better for Falcons than that fight. Skitter now looking at a Lincoln's. Maybe they're going to get multiple of them.
Oh. And I hope I don't jinx this here, but to anybody that thought this was going to be a cakewalk series, I feel like we're seeing now that this is going to be, and has the potential at least to go the distance. So Heroic take over the outpost up on the hill. And just claiming this area of the map. KJ has BKB and is queuing up a Sheepstick next.
Yeah, he's also getting there. These are some rich supports this game. Easily the richest, though, is Crit on the Hoodwink, because he got a free Ags from the previous Roach, so has the decoy.
Oh, yeah.
But a very unreliable spell, especially against heroes that are running as fast as Bloodseeker and rolling all over the place with the Earth Spirit and the Sand King. It's kind of hard to reliably use the decoy. Unless if he ends up getting impact out of it as a decoy.
Right.
Where they go on the decoy instead and that somehow sets up a bait or whatever.
I mean, it'll be something to watch for sure.
Okay, big moment. Full smoke off from Falcons. Only 2 heroes smoked on the side of Heroic. There's an Invis rune just waiting.
Divine Llama, they go in and they hex him, but the help is there. Yule Scepter already out. KJ pops the BKB. Still damages onto him, and now Analog finding the backlines. Malrine doing what he can. Do they have enough damage to kill off KJ? They do. In the meantime, Parker shows up, and look at him destroy Skitter again. They find another Rupture now onto Malrine. He tries to run away, but he's dying to the Rupture. The damage, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. Malrine is going to die. Parker claims another life. We're in Wallachia, and there's a vampire on the map ripping them apart.
They just ruptured Dagon 5. They just killed the Elk. Skitter, what item can you possibly buy to solve this problem? And the Sand King also, you see the fight recap, they're doing a ton of damage, but Parker, my god, he's doing 10k plus damage every fight.
Bloodseeker, 4,700 damage to Timbersaw. Like, what is this? They have buybacks on all these heroes. Again, it's a lot of fun seeing things go crazy, but it could all end in a moment if this buyback happens. In a bad way, Amar goes for the roll. Oh, no! Shards block up, but he's hex still on Parker. Ewell Scepter lifting him up there, needing to get away. He doesn't have BKB. He's dead.
That's 3 buybacks, though, and they do get everybody else out, and Parker has his, so you might try for an aggressive play now on Falcons, but the risk-reward here is pretty bad. If you mess up, you lose.
And the other thing is that you don't think, like, Parker makes that play if he doesn't have buyback.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They know he has it. I'm sure. I'm sure they know. Now another big item alert, refresher completed for Analog, so now 2 magnetizes, 2 Dagon 5s, lest we forget, also quite nasty in these fights. Whew.
56 minutes. Are we going to get to the fabled tier 5 neutrals? Can it happen? I mean, let's be real. I think if you're Heroic, you probably don't want to get to tier 5 neutrals. Mirror Shield is like a nightmare.
Oh, that is a very good point. And also Book of Shadows.
Yeah.
Just reliable ways of saving people getting ruptured is going to be the name of the game. And Timbersaw loves to be Book of Shadowed because he doesn't need to hit anything.
It'll be an interesting one, what happens over the next couple of minutes here. And if Heroic are even thinking about that as a potential worry, because I don't think they're in a position to end the game right now, barring some like really great fight, and they're waiting for Roche.
Honestly, it's such an interesting thing to look at because the primary problem that Falcons have, I feel like neutral tier 5s helps them so much, whereas the primary problem Heroic have is if they don't kill the enemy heroes during their BKBs and they expire, they're going to lose.
Right.
But the fights that they're taking, they're finding the kills quickly enough and getting ahead in the fight so they can snowball it. But imagine 2 Mirror Shields and a Book of Shadows. All of a sudden, Rupture gets difficult to cast. You're delaying deaths. You just need heroes to survive while BKBs run out. And the tier 5 items are really good for that if you find the right ones. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Is there anything else that could be valuable in that regard for Falcons? I think those are the ones, right?
Yeah.
It has to be.
A 2.5-minute Roche respawn, which means it will be just about 60 minutes when it comes up. That being on daytime side also lends itself to some strange interactions, I think, because for Falcons, they're going to be trying to hold this position. Maybe Heroic can still farm when they come out. It's going to be tough to see.
Definitely feels like advantage Heroic right now, though, because of the buyback status. Oh, yeah. They get it on Amar.
This is a big kill. Amar in trouble and going to be brought down. He was one of the heroes that still had buyback, though.
And they are trying to force Heroic to come back to base with a little bit of a push bot, but they can't truly commit. So just going to have to settle for the Tormentor steal. And, well, fortunately for Falcons, Roche will respawn simultaneously with Amar, so perhaps they can protect that. And I guess also, in reality, how big is the Roche?
Yeah.
At this point. Oh, they're trying to force them back again, Malrine. Really poking and prodding here, but can't fully commit. You can tell Skitter is terrified.
And I mean, as Heroic, you've got to be so pissed about this. I mean, you think that Roche is up. It's one of the longest spawns you can get. They are not going to get it.
And there come the TPs.
Yeah.
So they give up their position on the map, but they're still keeping King Jungles up there. Unable to scout it, though.
I mean, the ironic thing is that now if Falcons go up there, Roche is going to end up down bottom because it's such a long spawn.
That's actually true. I guess if Heroic were 5 heroes in the pit when he spawns, I'm not even sure they'd kill him in time. So yeah, this will be a bottom Roche, which is good news for Falcons because they have the outpost advantage. And especially this late in the game, having buyback TP to a Roche fight is enormous. And they have it on a couple.
They're going over there right now. I mean, it will be a couple of seconds before it goes.
Only Pango with buyback on the Radiant.
I mean, can they actually do this in time, though? Like, they're waiting right up here. They're going to try and kill it before it gets through the gate.
They have 14 seconds. They have ice shards. They can actually block him from running out.
They've got to wait for this one, because the problem is if they go too
this
soon...
is so awkward. They're going to see it now.
Really,
Okay,
really weird. And now Roche spawns. They're immediately going to try and take it down.
10 seconds. They have ice shards
They
if
pop
needed.
Pressure, actually. That was not what he meant to do. A little bit of extra time.
Schofield.
Can they get it? They got to kill it. Roche stunned. The shards is there. And the damage is out. It's enough. Oh my God, Falcons. They were
just
waiting.
Standing down there looking like fools. All of them just waiting for the Roche. Nobody picks up the Aegis. Nobody has space. They're taking a long time. Imagine if Falcons came through the gate right now.
There's no way they
They're
would.
juggling inventories for how long?
All right, Divide.
Oh, Aegis. Nice. Okay.
So 5-minute duration from then, and now
from picking it
60-minute
up.
items. So you
Okay.
get the Aegis, but you don't get to end the game before the 60-minute items.
It's time to count mirror shields. Force boots on snaking.
Not good. Actually, it's still probably pretty good.
They're pretty
It's
good.
still pretty good.
He's not getting ruptured, probably.
I mean, how much damage do you think Blood Mist has been doing in these fights? Because that doesn't have as much of an issue with the Mirror Shield.
Wait, one more time?
The Blood Mist, as opposed to, like, the damage that you're going to be doing.
How his damage breakdown looks?
Yeah.
I feel like it's... Dude, I have no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
you barely get to see
Fair.
this hero plays. I feel like the Rupture is doing so much damage when he casts it, though.
He's Giant Ring now.
Okay. Malrine is thinking about it.
Arcanist armor for Alk. I can't help but feel like this is just them not getting Mirror Shield. I can't imagine anything else.
The
All right,
damage
they got one on
reflection...
Pango.
The damage reflection aura on Mega Shield is actually pretty strong against the Bloodseeker here, potentially.
Dude, they only got one mirror shield.
Yeah, Amar has one.
That's it. He's the only one. All the rest of them have other items. They have Stygian on crit, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, he'll do a lot of damage. The Force Boots from Snaking, if he casts it on an ally, it's a Dispel. Obviously not going to remove Rupture. Is there anything worth dispelling here? He can't dispel Magnetize either. So I guess it's literally just a second Force Staff. And then an ultimate inventory slot if he ends up not needing to have boots anymore.
This is Team Giants Ring. They got it on Gyro, Earth Spirit, and Bloodseeker.
This Gyro's so big.
All right, and then Mirror Shield for Sand King, and then a Book of the Dead for Tusk.
Okay.
So they're fully kitted out. Is it enough for Heroic to walk on up here and try and end this game? Amar, keep in mind, has that Mirror Shield. Mirror Shield on Divide, forces abilities back at him. Also, Parker does have a Lincoln Sphere. They're sending in those Books of the Dead. Nothing doing yet, though. Rupture out onto Crit. Crit not feeling great. Second Rupture now into Malrine. Burrow Strike, Epicenter out, hitting. They need to be okay. They have the Nullifier there, but the buildings start to fall. Parker punching, killing, taking it down.
That's 2 Ruptures down, though.
Does have Refresher, still has BKB, jump in, stun. Snowball not able to save him. Parker, where's the help? They got him down to low HP. He's dial the chainsaw is dead. Chain stun completely taken out of the fight. Analog, though, this Magnetize is gonna hurt. They're hitting a lot of these heroes, but it's not quite enough. They need that damage, and Parker did buy back. Now, if you kill Parker again, this game could be over. He's going in, trying to take out Rax, will fully commit for bottom. And now you gotta be careful. I mean, it's so hard to step up when you know Divine Llama's gonna move up and try and hit it. He has the Aegis for a little bit longer. Let the Sand King punch the Rax, and it looks like Heroic now not feeling fully confident with the movement, but now Malrine moves out. Then they have it, the Rupture, it's onto him. Dagon, big hits, damage out onto Malrine. He's only half HP. Can they do more? BKB broken, damage out onto the side. Snaking hit, Malrine low, Malrine
He has
dead.
buyback.
2 minutes on the sidelines. Snaking. He's starting to get punched, but Skidder is there. Parker, he cannot afford to die. 1,000,000 silences and too much damage coming out onto the side of Heroic. Skidder, he gets the kill onto Divine Llama. Divine Llama will try and Burrow Strike away, does manage to get out of this base. But now the Nullifier is there, and Analog hits now onto Amar. How much more damage they have in the take. Parker thinking about going back in. The Blood Right is out. Sand King pulled into the snowball to save him for the moment. Burrow strike to get away on Devi, but Devi, he's going to be hexed. He's going to be killed.
And this is a dieback on Schofield.
No Tusk in the next fight.
Okay.
It did cost buybacks for Falcons.
Was it only Malrine they bought back?
I think so.
So Malrine and Schofield both buy back when Schofield dies.
And so does
again.
Parker.
Yeah, the Parker one is the really big one. If they can somehow find him, they're going to end the game, as you said. But my goodness. Again, another fight with Parker over 10k damage. We've got to see the total hero damage when this is all said and done. It's got to be completely ridiculous. The numbers he's been able to output in this game.
Oh, and
currently 67k against the 59 of Malrine.
I mean, it's
this
so
is the
much.
Pure damage.
Yeah.
There's more pure damage than other damage sources in this game almost. It's like completely unheard of.
Level 30 on Bloodseeker. He doesn't have BKB for 15 seconds.
Skitter's in. They know this is at worst a 5-on-4.
He'll throw it out. Analog, does he want to get frisky here? I mean, it's really hard to go for this, but the buyback's there, immediately brought down to low HP. Skitter controlled by Divine Llama. Parker on top of him. He pops his BKB. He only has one in the fight. They used it to kill Skitter. Can they get any more? Analog running in, trying to find Snake King, get that kill. Parker needs to keep his distance. Amar has him controlled for the moment, but there's no follow-up. Malrine taking more damage now. Analog living through this, but look at the big hit that he takes there. Analog might need to buy back, and will indeed do that right now. Parker adding the extra movement speed, the rundown, but they get away with Amar.
They get a clean disengage in that?
They won't get anything.
They force Sand King and Earth Spirit buyback, and